7 months, I think, but they just had their first child, and now you guys all know if you've had kids when they start jumping the TV, right? So she stayed back. Wade came. He's like, I'm not Mason. I'm still coming. I'm excited. This is his first generic event. He's been in the profession for 3 years, but you wouldn't know when you talk to him because they're doing 8 figures annually in sales, and have just absolutely taken the industry by storm. So much so that they didn't want to just say, hey, we're done here. Started their own podcast, have their own journals. Like, we're talking about action takers. They're in the top 1% of all network marketers. And this is in several years, which is super, super cool to see people like that just come in. There are people like the Wades, right? And the Sandys. You're like, oh yeah, everybody knows about it. How did we get entered? Or we're never interested before. Used to make fun of it, like Wade, the network marketing profession, and now they're becoming legends in the industry. So let's get up on our feet and let's give a huge warm welcome, round of applause to Wade. Okay, thank you, Rob, for putting this event together, for sharing your stage, for sharing so many amazing voices and speakers and stories. And I'm honestly honored and grateful to be here with each and every one of you, but especially to be up here. All the speakers are so right. You hear those things about you, you're like, is that me? Like, what? Are you talking about me? Like, oh my gosh, like, it's so humbling, it's beautiful. So, my name is Wade Trinity. That is my beautiful wife, Sandy. She's at home with our 7-month-old Cameron, teething, not sleeping. We made the executive decision, you guys go home. I gotta make it here though, connect with Rob. First time we met in person. He's even better in person. But thank you, Rob, for putting this together and creating this space. And I want to thank Rob, but I want to thank all of you guys too, because each and every one of us create this energy, create this mastermind, right? They say one brain might be super powerful, but 2 brains together create a third. Now imagine 100 of us. Imagine the superpower brain that's created with everyone here. So grateful for all of you, and I do want to empower what I've realized in network marketing. I love the industry. It's like my goal to professionalize it. And I think it's getting it's better by the year. I've only been in 3 years, but I've studied the history in a lot of it. And it's a career, but it's more so a calling. It's not a job, right? It's an opportunity. It's not a job. No one's telling you where you have to be, when you have to be there, how long you have to work. It's an opportunity. And it's an opportunity that each and every one of us said yes to.
Just grab them one at a time.
And with that said, this being a calling, I want to empower all of us that we were called here this weekend and to this profession for a reason. And it's not because we can't go to the top of our company. And by saying that, it's really impacting thousands or tens or hundreds of thousands or millions of people's lives. You weren't called here by accident, right? Whatever your belief system is. You were introduced to this opportunity by accident. So you're here for a reason, which is really cool. When you think about it that way, it's like, whoa. Yeah, this wasn't just coincidental. However, while we all have the ability to go to the top of the company and impact millions of people, whatever your belief is, God, the universe, your network, the world is waiting to see what you do with the opportunity. So what's so cool is we all have that potential. So I want to empower each and every one of us that we have that potential to go to the very top and live that dream life by helping so many other people do the same. So, when I first started network marketing, and I'm going to go through a little bit of my story. I'm going to share our story. My wife and I, we work this business together. And I'm going to share lessons along the way. And when I first started, I had a big ego, right? I wanted to attract people and recruit people by impressing them. By being like, I was a VP in my finance firm, and this is smart. Oh my gosh, I'm doing this, look at me. And what was so interesting, when I was thinking, I was on the plane, writing notes, I usually love to just get up and go from the heart, but I realize professionals have notes. I see all the guys before me and girls before, they all have notes, and so I'm like, better have notes. But it would be easy for me in the beginning. What my mistake in the beginning was I would tout myself, right? Be like, look at how impressive I am, join me. And what I've realized whether it's speaking, whether it's leading, coaching, whether it's recruiting. It's really about empowering the person in front of you, right? It's cool to be, oh, that person's impressive, but I could never be them. You're not going to go that far. You might impress some people, your ego will feel good. It's even better, it's the next level when you're like, wow, I can do anything. When you leave the person right in front of you, like, I can do anything. So it would have been easy for me, like, just a couple years ago, to get up and be like, we have an 8-figure business, and we're at the top 1%, and this, and that. Like, this is all the things I've done. But I realized in getting there, it was through failure. It was through weaknesses. It was through struggles. Like, we're at the top of our company. I just hired a business coach, like, outside of network marketing. He's basically like my life coach, my business coach. My wife and I have a 7-month-old almost next week. I think we just hired like a sex coach. I didn't even know that was a thing. But who's a parent in here? Like, so especially 6-7 months in, like, it's just there. It hits different, right? And so she's like, yeah, I was talking to this. She's like a sex therapist. We're gonna start hopping on weekly Zooms with her. I'm like, okay. Well, like, practice makes perfect, right? Like, yeah. But I'm like, okay. There's things that I failed at over and over. There's things that I can improve upon. I think all of the people who are up here is because they're students. They're still learning. They're taking the most notes. They're reading the most books. It's like the humility of it. So I'm so humbled to be up here and grateful to be here with all you guys and share. But what I realized, and it's taken me almost a full 3.5 years in this business, but there's power in vulnerability, and there's strength in your weakness. And while in the beginning I wanted to look at me, come with me, trust me, let's go, now I'm like, gosh, I gotta relate to people, I gotta connect to people. And people might admire you for the cool stuff, the trips, the cars, the paychecks, the whatever, the speaking gigs, but they'll trust you when they can relate to you, and they'll relate to you through your vulnerability, and they'll relate to you through your struggle. So it's kind of been a recurring theme, failure and struggle. So what all of us to do is focus on, like, why did I start? What were my pain points? What did I struggle with when I started? Because that is like one of the biggest things. People love to see the end result, the Instagram filter, or the cool reel, the look at me on vacation, I earned this trip, all the things. For like a split second, the dopamine, right? But what they really want to see is, imagine going to a movie or documentary. You don't want to see a movie where it's like, okay, I was born into this like wealthy family, and I had a great life, and we went on a lot of vacations. I was always happy, and I was pretty good at sports, and then I went to business school, and then I went into the business world, and I did pretty well, and I retired at 60, and I was happy, and I just traveled. I like gave back some, and then I died at 95, and like life was pretty good. It's such a boring movie. No, you want to see the struggle, the strife, the setbacks, oh my gosh, the setbacks, the setup, the set up. So what we all need to do, and what I'm really just training myself up here today, is show the struggle. Show how, I hate this term, but I don't know how to better put it, how the sausage is made. Make a documentary of your life. If you show up on social media, make it a documentary of your life. Show the ups and downs and everything. Show how the behind the scenes. Show the struggle. Show why you started. What were you struggling with? So I'm realizing humility is a big part of it. Show your vulnerability. All right, I'm going to go through some stories. And my wife and I, she started the business first. I said, I'm glad you were brave enough. I don't know if I was without her. So I'm going to start with a story about a girl. She flew from California to Boston. She was going through a very hard time in her life. Her mom just passed. She was grieving. She had a great job at the Ritz as a wedding coordinator. And every girl's dream, or her dream, she had a boyfriend. She left it all. She lived in Orange County, California. She's like, I'm quitting my job. I'm breaking up with my boyfriend. He's not supportive. And I'm getting out of Orange County, and I'm going to fly to Boston to visit her mom's best friend. A maternal figure to her. She wanted to be around that maternal energy. And she spent time there, grieving with her mom's best friend. And she was supposed to get on a train to go visit her aunts in Philadelphia, from Boston to Philly. That train she was supposed to get on derailed. No one was hurt, but she couldn't get out of town for the next few days. It was Memorial Day weekend. I forget what happened. But that woman she was visiting, the maternal figure, was like, honey, I gotta go back to work. But her son, there's a boy there like, you know what, I don't. I'm off work. I can show you around Boston. I'll show you. So he took her around. He showed her around Boston, Harvard Stadium, all sorts of cool stuff. They had fun together. He was showing up as a friend, very respectful. But over those 2-3 days, he was like, whoa, there was this energy, there was this magnetism. He fell in love. But she was going through a hard time. She was very respectful. He got her on a bus a few days later to go visit her aunts in Philly, wished her well, and then sent her a text, just of admiration, like, you know, I admire you, you're magnetic, I love your energy, I know you're going through a hard time, I'm here for you as a friend. All sorts of things affirming her. And at the end, he shot his shot. He's like, P.S., we should make a pact to get married one day. And he threw his phone, it was a flip phone. He was like, 9 years old. Like, don't want us to even see it. 5 minutes later, he looks at the phone, he looks at a text, gets a text back. She felt the same way. It was like love from not first sight, because actually, it turns out their moms were best friends, pregnant with them. So they were baby best friends. They grew up family friends, but that was their first time experiencing each other as adults. And fell in love from there. And what was the message here, wait, what does it have to do with network marketing? Is fast forward, they got married. They now have a 6, almost 7-month-old. That girl is my wife, and that boy is me. And what is so beautiful, she's been reflecting recently, taking time, but she's like, wow. You know, her mom had her own struggles. She passed far too young. But she's like, I always had anxiety about my mom would never know my husband and didn't know who I was going to marry. And what I realize now, my mom sent me to you. Like, my mom set us up, and she always knew you. And what my message there, the first lesson, is your mess really becomes your message. Your pain, your suffering becomes your message. When you know what this business means to you, you'll know how it moves through you. That's a quote one. That's a note tape. So when you know what this business means to you, you'll know how it moves through you. It's not your product, your comp plan. What does this business mean to you? We've heard it, sales, transfer of emotion, right? So that was the first story. Okay, let's get into the network marketing phase. Sandy started her business. Okay, so she was a kind of, I feel like I'm a trained entrepreneur. She was a born entrepreneur. We're very different. She's up here, vision casting. I can do anything. I'm like rational, and I'll get into her stories. And she owned a juice shop, brick and mortar. Has anyone ever owned a business outside of a network marketing business? Brick and mortar, anyone? Whew. That is like your babysitting employees. All network marketing is so beautiful. Turnkey entrepreneurship is like the most beautiful business model. Like, try running a business. You're the janitor, you're the CEO, you're everything in between. That's a whole other topic. But she sold her juice bar. The guy who sold it was like, you'd be really good at what I do. You're a business broker. You know, why don't I train you to do what I do? She said, okay, basically it's real estate. She goes into real estate, hates it. And she's someone who doesn't take life for granted. Who's like, if I'm going to work, it's going to be something I'm passionate about. I'm not going to go to some job that I hate. So she hates this job. She's like, oh my gosh, what's next? And you know what? I said this was a calling. When you're seeking something, it's also seeking you. We just have to open up our mind, our reticular activating system, everything that Ashley brought up earlier, right? Open our mind to opportunity. Because sometimes it's going to be in a package that we're like, what? Network marketing? She was like, so first we brought to her sister's like, you're a few months away from getting married. You were about to get married 3.5 years ago. And want to do this 30 days the healthy living program with me? Sure, I can afford to get healthier. We're about to get married. Yeah, why not? 10 days in, feels amazing. She was like energetic before, relatively healthy before, passionate before. All of a sudden, she has this new lease on life. She's like on fire everywhere she goes. She's like, oh my gosh. We're like, what are you on? And she's like, you gotta try here's the shake and this energy thing, all the props, right? But she wasn't in the business. So her sister's like, you're sending me so many referrals, you're a product for the product, you're literally a walking billboard for my business, why don't you take a look at it? She's like, oh no. Who said yes, actually, the first time they were approached? You see that though? 4% of the room? Fortune to the follow-up, 5 to 12 exposures. Anyways, she was a hard no. And then she started to be around the community. She had her own testimonial with the product. There's a lesson. Do you have recurring testimonials with the product? Are you the product of your product? Do you notice when you kind of go through, let's use my 30 Days Healthy Living program, when you're on it, all of a sudden you're like a magnet for like clients, you're like, whoa, because you're coming from authenticity, testimonial, right? She's around the community, she meets people, she's using the product, she goes to the meeting, she comes back from one meeting, and she's like, babe, I really want to do this. So what's my background? At that time, I'm a VP at my finance firm. I grew up with very little. Subsidized housing, parents divorced, living in a motel with my dad, going to school, smelling like cigarettes. Like, I had a great childhood. My parents did the best they could. I'm so grateful for them. But I didn't have a lot. So it drove me to like, success is money. I gotta go make money. I gotta go to business school. Who makes money? Wall Street guys. I gotta go into finance. Okay, I went to business school. I got my master's degree in finance. Went into the finance world, climbed the ladder. Thought, when I'm successful, I'll be making 6 figures. Everything will be good. I went and I did that, actually at a pretty young age. I got there, I'm like, this isn't fulfillment, I'm not happy. This isn't the pinnacle, this isn't what I set out to do. No one ever approached me about network marketing, ever. Except her. However, we'll get there. So she is like, babe, will you look at this business model? That's your thing. So I look at it, no preconceived notion. From a business perspective, I'm like, this is genius. This is like, first of all, turnkey entrepreneurship, beautiful. It's very low startup cost. You could technically be profitable like on your first day if you wanted to. Remember your juice bar, multiple $100,000 loan, 5 years to break even, yada yada. You know overhead. What you put into it, you'll get out of it. This is like capitalism at its finest. Like, yeah, go for it. Whatever you put into this, you'll get out of it. So she's like, say no more. Starts on fire. On fire. I know, but I was like, no, this is for you. My company's like 90% women. I can see myself in the company. And I'm like, this is a you thing. But I was supporting her. We were in a 1-bed house. We were both working from home. And so I was sending her clients and all sorts of stuff. And she's just on fire. She's like up at night. I wake up at like 1 or 2 a.m. to like go to the bathroom or something. And she's like up, like on her phone, like, looking at other people who are successful in the business, reaching out, doing all the things, doing it all wrong, but just ignorance on fire, right? We've heard it, like, you know, when you start out, use that momentum is contagious, that energy is contagious, like, bottle that up, use that. It's gonna be fire for fuel for other people. That was her. And she will tell you, she's an ordinary person that got attached to a vehicle that allows you to do extraordinary things, right? This business allows ordinary people, like all of us, to do extraordinary things. Like, in what profession are we like, wow, I have an opportunity to leverage myself with a vehicle and go impact like hundreds of thousands, millions of people. Like, that's not easy. We all have a vehicle to do that. Ordinary people allows us to do extraordinary things. She actually will tell you, I am very ordinary. She would say that about herself. And she went and got the car and the top 2% in the first 90 days of her business. And I was like, whoa. But I was literally around all of it. Like, we would have events at our house, I was on the coaching calls and all the things and opportunity videos, and I'm like, I feel like I could do this, I'm around it so much. I wasn't even in the business. Meanwhile, I'm in this finance job, not miserable, but I'm like, this is not what I want to do the rest of my life. I'm building my CEO's equity. Like, he tells me when I have to be at work, how much time I get off. Let me project this out. I'm going to be 60, I'm going to retire with my 401k. I'm super healthy, so I'm going to live to like 100. And my kids are going to have to take care of me because my 401ks are running out. Like, that doesn't work for me. The traditional model is broken, in my opinion. And I was like, I got to become an entrepreneur. I moved to Orange County. I'm like, what do all these people do? They're all entrepreneurs. They work harder than me, actually. They work pretty hard, but for their own thing. And they're passionate about it. Like, whoa. Hire a business coach, $15,000. Help me start a business. What business do you want to start? What do you do? You're a business coach and a life coach? What is that? Teach me how to do that. And so just kind of taking action. Right around the same time my wife started her business in network marketing. And I realized, hold on. She's a health coach. She's a business coach. I love health. I love business. I'm hiring a coach to become a coach. She's leveraging herself. I'm helping like 6 people a month. Really cool. She's helping like 100. Like, Meanwhile, for 6 straight months, she's like, babe, do this with me. You would be amazing at this. Oh my gosh. Okay, I gotta hurry up. And that was this? Okay. You'd be amazing at this, etc., etc. And long story short, I say, okay, yeah, why not? You know what? I didn't see myself in the business. But you know what I did see? You know what? Maybe I don't see myself. Maybe that's an opportunity to trailblaze. So maybe you're talking with someone, but meanwhile, also, no one ever approached me about network marketing except her. So who in your life, there's another lesson, who in your life is already like, you're writing them off because on paper they're successful, or whatever it is, or they wouldn't be a fit, or you don't see them in the business. Like, who is that? Who is the chicken list, sometimes it's called, right? It's just up to us to offer it to them. Hey, you're already really successful. Successful people are amazing at this. I think you'd be really good. You're a natural born leader. You have a lot of influence. I think it'd be smart for you to take a look at. It may be a fit for you. It may not. But would you hop on this webinar on Thursday? If not, okay, I got one on Monday. Like, what if you approach those people in your life that you know? Rob says, I love this. Amateurs or distributors enroll distributors. Leaders enroll circles of influence. I'm now looking, I enrolled my business coach. Because I'm like, you have a huge influence. I'll build this for you. Just introduce me to people you think would be good at it. He's like, oh yeah. No, definitely. Every coach I've ever had, I've enrolled. They don't actively work it, but they're like, hey, wait, you should talk to this. Hey, let me connect you to them. Hey, now they have a residual business. They're making like a few grand a month residually. They're like, thank you. Like, yeah, who else do you know? All right, I gotta really go through this. So, I come in with the business background, and I come in also ignorance on fire. Who sent like long copy and paste text messages? Oh my gosh, 3 years in, I'm still following up with people, and I see like my first reach outs, I'm like, oh God, it's like this long, it's just puking the opportunity and the products on them. I'm like, I usually do voicemail, I'm like, oh my gosh, can we review what's above? I was brand new, I'm so sorry. That was not professional. I really worked to become a professional. Will you give me another chance here? Because I actually still think you'd be good at this, but I'd love to see how it could be fit for you, whatever. I really enjoyed the voice memo. I love what Brian said though, like what works for you? I think, identify though, is it fear of voice memoing or video or calling people? Or is it you're not good at it? Because I think really there's a lot of, we call it the 3 E's. Energy, enthusiasm, and excitement. Like if I'm text messaging, unless I'm using a lot of exclamations and emojis, you can't feel my energy, right? If I'm connecting with you, and I'm like, hey, you'd be amazing at this. Maybe I wouldn't start with that. But whatever, you start with a compliment. Hey, Catherine, use their name, right? You'd be incredible at it. Or you've always been like, health and wellness comes to mind when I think of you. I think you have a lot of influence, you're a leader there. I think this opportunity would be a really good fit for you. I have an event on Thursday night. It's a rooftop bar. It's a yoga thing. It would be really cool for you to come check it out. Maybe a fit for you, may not. But will you clear your schedule and come with me Thursday? Always end with a question. I love that like reach out version, right? And Brian and Rob, their book is amazing. I just started flipping through it, the script book. But use their name, compliment them, make the ask. Take the pressure off. Hey, it may be a fit for you, it may not. Reaffirm them, but I think it'd be really smart for you to take a look at. And then end with a question, open-ended question. And with some conviction. Hey, what it's like, hey, are you free? I don't know, let me know. Or it's like, hey, could you clear your schedule Thursday night and come with me? It's gonna be a lot of fun. We'll grab a drink after, whatever. So almost lead them to water. All right, we joined, will you let me know when I have to file? What's my time? Am I until 2:55?
Sure.
Okay. Lost some time, Rob. No, I swear that was the original what he told me.
That's going into Ross.
Okay. So we partner together, and can I also take like another side? This business is absolutely genius. Like I love business, the economy, economics. This business is super smart because guess what? In a downturn, people still, I don't know if it's product or whatever, people still probably buy your stuff, right? They're probably consumable. Network marketing products have to be premium. If a company stands with the test of time, like network marketing products are genius, they're premium. Like, it just is what it is. I always support my friends in network marketing. I'm like, yeah. Oh yeah, I know it's better than what I'm using. Yeah, heck yeah. And then for me, I was like, wait, I'm already buying all these things from 12 different brands. Why don't I buy from my own store? Tell other people about this. Teach other people to do the same. Anyways, it thrives in the summertime when everything's good. The last 12 years, it thrives. 2018 to 2020 was like a hockey stick, right? Pandemic, everyone's home, everyone's buying stimulus checks, whatever. 2021 was, anyone else, like a big drop off when you were doing the business? Anyone have a drop in 2021? Wow, just good. After a pop, right, especially hockey stick, there's a dip. It's life. Life is seasonal. What goes up must come down. But what goes down must go up again. 2021, I think, was a sharp drop off in the industry relative to the pandemic in 2020. But I feel a tidal wave coming back in this industry. And we're at the precipice, right? A 1-inch shift in the bottom of the ocean can cause a tidal wave. That's our mindset. That's in your personal business, but that's also in the industry, that's in the economy, that's everything. It's in the world, Mother Nature. So, the economy is already probably in recession, and in the next 6 months, it's probably going to get worse. I'm not here to like predict that, but you can kind of see the writing on the wall. And what happens in network marketing when there's a downturn? People need additional streams of income, right? People want hope. People want community. What do we have to offer? People still buy the products, right? I know my business, people still buy the consumable products. They call it the lipstick effect, right? They still buy alcohol, tobacco, personal care, whatever your guys' products are, I bet they still buy it. So we have a tidal wave coming, but it's up to us to like be able to ride that wave, right? We gotta be there for it, but we gotta be prepared for it too. Jumping all over the place. Okay. We partner in business, and I'm working at my finance job full time, like long hours. I'm waking up at 5 on the West Coast, working East Coast hours, working till like 4 or 7 Eastern, grabbing our kit, doing events, like doing the do, right, in the business. And it's like grind time. But I see the vision. There's such power and clarity, right? When I knew why I was doing it, because I saw a clear vision of being present father and husband. I wasn't a father at the time, but I saw that. Being able to travel freely, go live in Europe if we wanted to, all the things. When you see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. There's power and clarity. You have to know exactly where you're going. We don't know how we're going to get there. We have to know exactly where we're going. So I partner, and I'm like going hard with my wife, but I'm also working full time. And when you're leveling up, the work-life balance is not a thing. There's not balance in your life. 6 months of intense focus can put you 5 years ahead. I was in this 6 months of intense focus. And in the beginning, I was so grateful. I'm like, I have 2 incomes. This is amazing. Oh my gosh, I'm grateful. What you appreciate appreciates, right? What are you grateful for in your life? What do you think about? What you're so grateful for, it's going to show up more and more. And all of a sudden, I'm building this network marketing business with my wife, and I stopped being grateful for my finance job. I'm like, don't want to be here, all the things. They knew what I was doing. I told them I was doing an outside activity. They were okay with it. They're like, just keep getting your job done, and you're all good. I stopped being grateful though. And then my wife and I do this marketing opportunity video, and she puts it on LinkedIn. I didn't know how LinkedIn works. She's like, will you like that? I said, yeah, sure. Like it. Blows out to my full network, Wall Street, investment bankers, private equity, all of our investors, my CEO, all of our employees. It was a small shop. I get a call literally the next day. It's like, wait, I have to go on the record here. It's like, we have to terminate you effective immediately. We just shut down your computer, yada, yada, all the things. And I was writing my way out. Like, I was writing my own ticket. And I'm like, whoa, what? I told you, what? He's like, we saw the video, blah, blah, blah. Or no, he goes off there. He goes, we saw the video. I go, I told you what I was doing. He goes, I know, I legally have to fire you. In finance, you can't do 2 things, it's BS, but he's like, I have to. All the investors send it to me. They're like, your VP is at a VP at another firm. What is our one? What the heck is he doing? And I was super passionate about it. You can tell I was like 2 feet in. Oh yeah, we work with our one, by the way. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I just got fired. What the heck? Like, that was very humbling. I'm like, babe, what do I do all day? Like, what the heck? I'm a full-time entrepreneur. The lesson there is what I realized. I always make a point to connect with successful people that I see in life and that I like respect or admire somewhere where they are. And what I've realized, and I got this from Steve Harvey too, is there's going to be a point in your life, from where you are to where you want to be. You're going to get up to like the cliff of life, right? Let's say you're with your opportunity. You want to take it to the next level. And you're going to be like 1 foot on, 1 foot off. And you see those, your upline or people in your life or whoever it is, and they're flying. They're going on vacations. They're traveling. They're in Bora Bora at a hut. They're driving a Tesla. They're living Rob's life. There's those people flying through life, right? At some point, each and every one of those persons, they jumped without knowing what was going to happen. They were on the cliff of life and they jumped. For me, I was 1 foot in the network marketing and 1 foot still in my VP finance firm. And I actually got pushed. I didn't even jump. I got pushed. And you know what happens when you jump or you get pushed? Your wings don't spread right away. You start falling, free falling. Your gut goes into your eyeballs, in your butt, whatever. You're like scared shitless. And you get rocks on the way down. You get bruised and battered. And you start hearing no after no after no, and people are making fun of you and all the things. You went from finance to network marketing with like 90% chicks. Like, what? Ha! First they laugh. Then they respect you. Then they ask how you did it. Then they ask for money. Anyways. But I want you to evaluate, where are you on that cliff? Have you jumped in 2 feet? Are you 1 foot in, 1 foot out? Because God, the universe, they're waiting to see you fully commit and jump. And you know what? After you get bruised and battered on the way down, eventually you're going to learn those skills. You're going to have that conviction. And your wings are going to start to spread. You're going to glide. And you're going to soar. And eventually stay with it. You're going to be flying. Like all those people that were before. But it takes that leap. It takes that jump. I needed to be pushed. So we're then like, I'm a one-income family. Oh my gosh, my back's against the wall. Like, I need to go. We went so hard. I'm going to make this short and sweet, this section. But if you want to level up and you really want to take it to the next level, it becomes an obsession. Like, let's not kid ourselves. It's not a nooks and crannies business to the top of the company. It's being obsessed. It's waking up every day. What can I do to take steps closer to that dream life, to this goal? It's going to sleep thinking about it. It's dreaming about it. Like, every day we wake up pretty obsessed with it. Everyone in our life and our network knew about it. We put ourselves out there on social media. We're like, we're going for this goal. And we fell short over and over and over and over again. And in the grand scheme of things, 6 months is a very short time. 6 months of like failing over and over and over and over is hard. But we were making it about us. We wanted to promote before the end of the year and be in Maui for leadership retreat and earn the paycheck and all the things. We were making it about us the whole time. We're one income family. We need to make more. We've heard it, right? Zig Ziglar. Help enough people get what they want, you'll have everything you ever needed. That is this business model. Help enough people win, you'll win. That's all it is. We were like, oh my gosh. Made it about everyone else. Do you know exactly how to help a new enrollment earn their investment back or earn their first $500 if you don't educate yourself? Teach it, coach it. Go help a lot of people make their first $500. Success in this is helping a lot of people make $500 a month. Some people make $10,000. Some people make $20, $40, $50, whatever. But a lot of people make $500 a month. And they say the average American, like 40 or 50% made up stat. If they had to have a $400 like emergency bill, they couldn't pay for it in cash. We have an opportunity to help them. Let's help them. Okay. What did we do? Okay, so we went over and over. We finally promoted what we made about everyone else at the top of the company. Then what? Take a breath, not a break. You get to the top, you're like, I've made it. Chilling on a beach gets boring. Humans want to grow. It's like, what's that next level version of me? How can I raise up other leaders? So what did we do? We're like, gosh, we got to document systems. Now, let's go very quick over this. What did we do? I think life, business, seasons, everything works in 90-day cycles. We've seen it a few times. We documented everything we did, foundational, and then kind of daily method for operations. And we were like, we created a 90-day journal for ourselves and then for our team. We're like, here, when you get to the top, a lot of people, what'd you do? What'd you do? What'd you do? And we want to help everyone. And we're like, oh, here's the system. We put it on Amazon. We're like, there it is. It was taking so much of our time trying to answer and help everyone. So we put it on Amazon and it blew up. First in our company. Then in the industry, we're like, oh my gosh. Like, I gotta build a brand out of this? You guys, it's literally just a journal, and it's over there. I'm gonna offer some to people, but Building that business even is way harder than a network marketing business. Guys, be so grateful for your network marketing business. But what it is, 90-day cycle journal that will help with daily business habits, mindset, and so on. I think my assistant sent like 15 or 20. Just come over, I'm just giving them away. It's my goal with that, it's like a nonprofit. It exists to pay everyone else. There's so many employees, different things. I didn't get paid off that, but I wish I did. It exists to professionalize the industry, to help new enrollments on board, or help your team go on a 90-day sprint together. So I'm going to offer that to people, and I want to end with, I totally skipped the sales training. That was good. We'll connect offline about sales training. One of my favorite quotes, right? And then I'm going to end with a visualization. Marianne Williamson, some of you may have heard, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Who are you not to be? You're a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. You were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we consciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. I think in essence that is this. When you go all in on this and you become that highest self of you, you empower and liberate other people to do the same. Even if you don't think they're watching, they are. And when you connect with them and when they're around you and your presence and your aura, it's just like, wow. Like I want to be around that. You are liberating other people by becoming the next version of you. You are liberating generations to come ahead of you. Now I have a request. Rob, I have a really powerful 5-minute visualization. Do we have time for it or not? You can reject me.
Can we do a little last?
Yes. All right, let's do it. All right, stand up, close your eyes. All right, visualize yourself here in this moment. You're in the moment, you're showing up for you, you're leaning in, you're growing, you're flourishing into that next version of you. Now visualize yourself. You're on a business-related trip. You're walking on the beach. It's early in the morning. The world is still and peaceful. And you bump into you 5 years ago. You give that younger you a warm, embracing hug. What emotions come up for you? What would you tell that version of you? What would you be proud of? What would you say to yourself? What would you acknowledge you for? Would you acknowledge yourself for the growth, for the lives you've impacted around you? Would you acknowledge you for the person you've become? We all need to have more adoration and pride for our former self. Look at what you've accomplished. Your former self would be elated and so proud of who you are today. But until we have that love, that pride in ourselves, we're holding ourselves back from rising up. Now I want you to step into you 5 years from now. You're back on that same beach on a sunset walk. The sun's setting over the water, you're in the moment. You're at the top of your company. Who's that person? What are you proud of? Who did you help along the way? What did you decide to go for and make it happen? Whose success stories mention you? How have you served the world? Feel it. Imagine it as if you're there on that beach. How grateful are you in your heart? What advice would that version of you give your today's self? Embrace that advice. Feel it. Live it. When we're feeling unmotivated, stuck, complacent, in a funk, in a rut, and desiring to rise up, the momentum, the tidal wave of impact, of action, the positive ripple all begins in our hearts with the love and embrace we carry for ourselves. Now it's our duty to bridge the gap between who we are now and that person 5 years from now. Just like we bridge the gap from that person 5 years ago to the version of you sitting here. So be proud of yourselves and rise up. Okay, we can all open our eyes. I just want to say thank you, Rob. Thank you, all of you, for being here, for creating this space. I appreciate you. I appreciate the extra few minutes, Rob, and thank you.
And
accomplished in a couple of years. And I've talked to several other leaders and look back where they were at. And I look back even where I was at. 5 years ago, I wasn't coaching. Think about that. I've done over 20 masterminds, these generic events like these as we go. You add all these things in. Think about that.